Don't worry, I'm not going to sing. I wasn't waiting for the music. But on behalf of the Bremen Board of Education and all the students, faculty, and staff at Bremen City Schools, we are extremely excited to welcome you to the official dedication of the Hamilton-McPherson Fine Arts Center. Additionally, this evening, before we get started with our performances, I also want to recognize Randall Redding, who's over here to my left. RK Redding Construction Company was our construction manager for this project, and as you can tell, they did an exceptional job. I've worked with a lot of contractors through the years, and they definitely stand out, and we appreciate all the staff of RK Redding. I want to thank the people who put in hours of work behind the scenes in addition to the kids that will be performing. Big thank you to Mr. McManus and the students and staff at Bremen High School under his direction as well. Also the staff members from my office that put in a lot of hours in preparation for this event. So without further ado, we have an exciting evening of activities planned, so please sit back and enjoy. And again, welcome to the Hamilton-McPherson Fine Arts Center.
Once there was a donkey who worked hard for his owner for many years. Day after day he carried heavy bags of grain to the mill. But the donkey grew old. He could no longer work hard. So the donkey left that night. One day he heard his owner say he was going to get rid of him. The donkey was worried. So the donkey kneeled down to speak to the dog.
What is the matter, my friend? Oh, me, now that I'm old and weak, I can no longer hunt. My owner wants to get rid of me, and I got scared and ran away. Now I don't know what I will do.
You can come to Bremen with us. We're going to become musicians. Will you join us?
I'd love to. I can write very pleasant tunes.
Soon they saw a cat sitting on the ground. The cat had the saddest face the donkey and the dog had ever seen, so they stopped to see what was the matter.
Hello there. What's so long?
Now that I am old and my teeth are not sharp, I can no longer catch mice. My owner wants to get rid of me. Now I don't know what I will do.
You can come to Bremen with us. That's why we're going to become musicians. Will you join us?
Sure I will. I'd love to. Meow. So the three musicians set off. Soon they came to a farmyard. There they heard Rooster crying so sadly.
Mom, you sound so sad. What is wrong? I used to try to wake up the farmer each morning.
took the midnight train going anywhere.
Just a city boy, born and raised in South Detroit. Took the midnight train going anywhere. Don't stop
Believing, hold on to that feeling. Street lights, people. Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. Street lights, people. Don't stop. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. For it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Call me, call me, call me, call me, call me, call me.
Virginia. It's Virginia. salesman, Mr. Bradley Shirley.
My name is Bradley Shirley, and for my science fair project this year, I did the solar system. Fact or fiction?
That sounds great, Mr. Shirley. And last but not least, we have a very colorful girl, Miss Tiffany Riley.
Hey girl, hey! I'm Tiffany Riley, though you probably already know that. And for my science fair project this year, I did is glitter edible.
That sounds tasty, Miss Riley. And now that we've met all of our contestants, let's begin the 7th grade science fair. Regina.
It's actually Regina. So, which detergent works best? That's my title.
Anyway, so I know what you're all thinking. Moons, planets, asteroids. Get it? Asteroids. If it's in the science book, it's gotta be a fact, right? Wrong. In some science books, they thought that the earth was flat. And someone, somewhere, thought that the people came from monkeys. I mean, come on!
Okay, so why did I choose this project? Well, I guess it was about a year ago when I was baking a cake for my best friend, McPherson. Shout out to my BFF, Jewel. I'm ready. My hypothesis was that, I would just like all the judges, you know. I rehearsed mine like 3 times with my gardener, Jorge. Okay, so he doesn't speak a lot of English, but he said that it was, muy bueno. Right, Jorge?
Muy bueno.
Well, I tested my detergent.
You know, why don't you let one of the non-freaks win this year, Regina? Right, Tiffany?
No. You see, you're a freak too. Your name rhymes with itself. Anyway, so I guess it was about a year ago when it just came to me. Because I mean, how much glitter is too much glitter? So I used 3 hamsters to help me out. The first hamster, I fed 1 tablespoon of glitter a day. 1. The second hamster, I fed 2 tablespoons of glitter a day. 1, 2. The third hamster, I fed 12 tablespoons of glitter a day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, choke it down, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. For my sample material, I created this bar graph on how and when each of the hamsters died. Died. And here's a picture of the 3 gravestones in my backyard. Rest in peace, Mary, Kate, and Ashley. Why? It was just glitter.
Well, for my sample material, I read a book. A shocker, I know. By the late A.L. Ronald Hubbard. The L was an initial. He was not a Mexican as I had first suspected. And here is an article on how and when Pluto was downgraded from planet status. Rest in peace, Pluto!
My hypothesis was that detergent A was
Oh my God, Regina.
better than detergent B.
You spelled detergent wrong!
What? Where? Oh, that's embarrassing. I know the right spelling. Oh my God. Are those ants on your board? You know what, Tiffany? I did this project myself. So when I ran out of tape, I used glue. And when I ran out of glue, I used chewing gum.
Well, hence the ants.
Yeah. Thank you, Bradley. The point is, I'm proud of myself. And isn't that all that really counts?
Well, why don't we let the judges decide, Regina?
Well, thanks, Bradley Shooter-Dadley.
You're welcome, Regina Flector. When's the science fair?
This year's one-act play is The Diviners by Jim Leonard Jr. It is directed by Monica Turner and Dorian Santiago. The center plays around a troubled young boy with a mystical gift who struggles to make sense of a world he cannot fully understand.
Now, just before Buddy Layman passed beyond us, there was a storm in the sky like no other. I was chasing after Darlene down on the creek there when I felt the air start to change. I looked at the clouds, I heard the wind blowing, and I said to myself, Norma, don't stand out here like a fool. Get to the house before the storm hits.
And I'll run like the wind after that boy died, calling all over town for his father.
So I stood on my porch and I looked up to see the air all in motion above me. I was standing on my porch for shelter. In the clouds, it was dark as the land is long, circling and swirling like the fire in the sky.
And I looked.
And I seen it.
And I hollered.
And I knew.
I says, Ferris, he's dead now for certain. Buddy Layman, he's passed on beyond us.
And like a slate wiped clean or a fever washed away. Where there was fire in the sky, now there's nothing. Where there was clouds, there's just blue and the sun.
His only son is gone. And it's me who brings the word when Ferris comes to his door in the morning. I says, Ferris, I'm sorry. He don't move and don't speak. And I says, your son, he's passed on beyond us.
The idiot boy's dead, don't you see? Buddy Layman's gone, and there is no telling the weather. When he said it would rain, we laid our fields and roads, and we knew it would be a good season. It's like basic sex. A man works, a man waits, and he hopes, and he prays. It was before he told us the weather. And that boy, he was something else for a fact. Well, he couldn't talk for 2 cents, or take the time to tie his shoes. But he seemed to know things you figured nobody knew. Without drilling rigs, or mending machines, without nothing but a willow rod in his hands, Buddy Layman came onto our land in late spring, and he set himself to the witching November. Call it vein finding, water witching, smelling, seeking, or divining. The boy had a touch and a feeling for water.
Water. Come on, boy, go find her. Would you look at him go?
Witching ain't nothing. It's that stink that does all the work, dude.
He seems to make it work.
Hey, if you fellas keep up this ruckus, you'll throw a boy off. Now, how many times have I told you tonight? The dowsing is a delicate business.
We've been chasing through the fields half the night. There ain't no signs, nothing at all.
Just give the boy time.
How's he gonna find any water when he don't even touch it? He don't wash, he don't bathe. The boy is dirt from head to toe. I mean, Basil, he's not even baptized.
That's because he gives it right to the bone, don't you see?
Water, he feels water. He's on it now, baby. Come on, boy. Come on, you got it.
Well, sweet Jesus in heaven, would you look at that?
You got you some water? You got you some?
You're done just fine, bud. You'll be fine by me.
He's a good guy, Basil.
You're a real good guy, Buddy Layman.
Oh, boy.
You hit it right on the money.
You're a real good guy.
Good job, buddy. I'm not paying you boys to stand around busting and shaking hands half the night. Run up the bar and grab the shovels. Come on, let's go.
What do you want to help you?
Get on your fair share, buddy. Now you can tell your dad I'll be sending over some wax beans come this fall. Remember to tell him I thank you. And thank you, my friends.
Hey, honey, you wouldn't want to show Luella how to work this thing, would you?
Want to work it?
How to make it find water.
Well, he shuts his eyes.
Yeah?
And he thinks on his mama.
Buddy! Your mom. Buddy! You think your mom when you're trying to find water? I can't take my eyes off you for 2 seconds, Buddy Layman, without you running off all over the field.
Well, he was playing, Jimmy May.
And you're supposed to be sweeping.
Oh, what are we going to do with that boy? Well, he can't do nothing right, Jimmy May. See that broom right there? Well, he can make it to working. And you see how we done with his shoes?
Buddy!
His sister says, buddy, keep them shoes on your dogs. Well, them feet ain't supposed to get naked.
And there you all sit, up to your elbows in mud. This place, so you're getting nowhere but dirty.
Lean into it, dude. Hold on, Bez. Hold. Water. Good God Almighty.
My hands are wet.
Water. The well of there's water.
Water!
He did it. He tied him.
Grab the shovel, boys. Let's celebrate. Lord God in heaven, I'm tired.
He tied his shoes by himself, and now he's going to sweep by himself. He's sweeping and sweeping.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi. Can I help you with something?
Well, to tell you the truth, ma'am, I'm lost.
What are you looking for?
I'm not looking for nothing too special here, ma'am. I had a fitful night of dreaming, see? And when I woke up this morning, I looked at the road down one way and then the other. And what do you think I said? I said, well, I'm fitfully tired of getting it. It don't look all the same no matter which way you turn. Couldn't tell coming from going, well, which thing was up. That is, till I seen my friend here giving the grass to y'all once over. And I said to myself, now there's a man who cares about the land he stands on. And I said, now here's a fellow who cares about the land he stands on. And I said, now there's a man who can tell me where I am.
Well, you're at Buddy Layman's house.
I had a sneaking suspicion I might be.
Yeah, it's his house, all right. Well, then it's his windows, his door, his porch, and this girl right here. She's his sister.
Buddy!
Well, you want a sweet talker, mister? You want her to make you get lost?
You should get back to sleeping.
Oh, he's tired of sleeping.
Well, you know, pal, you can never be too clean. Us as a fine and upstanding young fellow like yourself, I love keeping clean.
Well, you ain't gonna wash it.
Are you selling soap or something, mister?
No, ma'am.
Well, you're gonna put it in water.
In water?
Now, what do you want to go staring at for? He never done nothing to you.
Now, wait a
You
minute.
just come walking up here out of a clear blue, no teeth and folks you don't hardly know.
Now, hold the boat, ma'am. I only stopped because I'm looking to help folks.
Are you one of them Mormons?
To put it to your real thing, I'm in need of a job.
Well, we're not giving handouts.
Well, I'm not wanting a handout. I'm wanting to work. You name it, I'll do it. Yard work, housework, cleaning or mowing. I'll milk the chickens, I'll hunt the cows. I'll work on engines for food.
We'll let you have some breakfast.
I'm afraid not, my friend.
Maybe you better talk to my daddy.
If it wouldn't put you in no trouble.
Oh, it's no trouble at all, mister.
What's your name, mister?
Daddy!
Cece,
Well, you think you're maybe gonna stick around a while, Cece?
it all depends, bud.
Oh, there's lots of good stuff here, you know.
There is, huh?
Yeah. You see the woods right there, don't you?
But I sure do.
Well, that's where the birds live.
Do they now?
Yeah. Way up the trees they do. Way up in the leaves.
No, that's a good thing to know.
You see the ground right here?
Mr. Layman, I'm looking right at it.
Well, that's where the doodlebugs live.
Well, you're just chock full of knowledge, aren't you, my friend?
Funky might be.
I beg your pardon?
He said you funky might be.
Now, you're talking about you, right?
Yeah! Can't you hear him?
Yeah, I hear you, pal.
You see the sky up there, pal?
Mr. Layman, I do.
You know who lives up there?
Who?
Jesus!
Way up there?
Jesus, the Son of God does.
Well, what do you think he does up there?
Well, he's maybe got him a little house.
Yeah?
Yeah. And he's maybe got him a little toilet inside.
No, that's a good thing to have.
He think it might be.
Mr. Layman, it does my heart good to meet a man who don't just lay around the church.
Well, we ain't got no church, Cece. Don't you know nothing?
Ah, your mama taught you the gospel at home, huh?
His mama.
Yeah.
Oh, you ain't seen her.
No?
We can't find her nowhere, Cece.
Well, how long she been gone?
We ain't sure no more. He looked in his house, in his yard, in the woods, we can't find her nowhere.
Well, I imagine she'd be home before long, don't you think?
Sometimes he hears her. Sometimes then at night he hears her. And it's like she's right there. Like he can touch her almost. When he's sleeping.
You mean your mama's passed away, bud?
Well, you know where she is?
Well, I imagine she's in heaven. You know what angels are, don't you?
Well, what's angels?
Angels are what you call the people that live in heaven. You know, the folks that pass along beyond us.
Well, what's angels do?
Well, they just sitting and fly around singing.
Angels can fly?
That's what they say.
Like the birds?
Like the birds.
Hey, Dad, she's up to the sky. His mama's flying with Jesus.
Boy, you're going to be able to sky like the devil come down if you don't finish your chores before dinner.
than silver or gold. I'd rather be his than have riches untold. I'd rather have Jesus than houses or lands. I'd rather be led by his nail-pierced hands than to be the king of a vast domain, or be held in sin's dread sway. I'd rather have Jesus than anything this world affords today. I'd rather have Jesus than man's applause. I'd rather be faithful to his dear cause. I'd rather have Jesus than worldwide fame. I'd rather be true to his holy name than to be the king of a vast domain, or be held in sin's dread sway. Oh yes, I'd rather have you, Jesus, than anything this world affords today. I'd rather have you, Jesus, than anything this world affords today. Rather have you, Jesus, than anything.
I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do ya? It goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king composing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Your faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof, her beauty in the moonlight overthrew ya. She tied you to a kitchen chair, she broke your throat, she cut your hair, and from your lips she drew the hallelujah, hallelujah, took the name in vain, but you don't even know the name. But if you did, well really, what's it to ya? There's a blaze of light in every word. It doesn't matter what you heard. The holy or the broken, hallelujah, 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 I tried my best, it wasn't much. I couldn't feel, so I tried to touch. I've told the truth, I didn't come to fool ya. And even though it all went wrong, I'll stand before the Lord of song with nothing on my tongue but hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah,
Good evening. My name is Taylor Mauser, and I am a junior here at Bremen High School. I am involved in the one-act plays and spring musicals. I am also a member of the National Honor Society, and I serve as the co-editor of the Bremen Blue Blaze newspaper. On behalf of all the students here at Bremen High School, I want to say thank you to our community, our Board of Education, our school system leadership, and the McPherson family for having the vision and the willingness to bring the Hamilton-McPherson Fine Arts Center to the students of the Bremen City School System. Tonight, it is my pleasure to be able to read a brief history pertaining to Hamilton College as written by the late Mr. Carl McPherson. In the year 1889, a man by the name of Mr. G.R. Hamilton provided his home while he was away at medical school for Mr. Oscar Bryant and his wife to teach a 9-month school. Mr. Hamilton continued to furnish his home until 1893. Then he and his nephew, S.L. Hamilton, the Bullard brothers, C.L. McPherson, Dr. Joseph Edwards, Mr. W.O. Walker, Mr. John W. Tomlinson, and J.R. Riggs formed a school committee and obtained a 20-year charter through the influence of Congressman Adamson of Carrollton. They proceeded to then open Hamilton College. The first professor of Hamilton College was Professor J.M. Duncan. He taught everything in the college except French. The first graduating class from Hamilton College consisted of 3 graduates: Glenn Copeland, Walter Edwards, and Lewin McPherson. The college was housed in a 2-story wooden building in the area where Bremen First United Methodist Church and the Warren Sewell Memorial Library now stand. By 1904, Hamilton College was a dying institution. The business school was still going on, taught by Mr. Haygood, but the college was too close to a larger institution, Bowdoin College, and the competition for students was tough in the sparsely populated areas around Bremen. The school still taught a sort of elementary school. Mainly 5th and 6th grades, and a junior high school of 7th and 8th graders were housed on the top floor with the business college. Hamilton College served the West Georgia community for more than 60 years.
It's my privilege to welcome you here also tonight. Thank you for this special dedication night. I have a privilege of hearing so much great talent tonight. I tell you, it's been wonderful. I'd like to introduce to you our Board of Education at this time. I think most of them are seated right here. We have Mr. Rob Walker, our Vice Chairman, Mr. Randall Lovern, our Treasurer, Van Pelt, and John Parent. Also, I'd like to recognize a couple of former board members that served With me, this vision and dream began some 10 years ago, and two of our former board members are here tonight. I'd like to honor them also. Mr. Gordon Parrish, I saw Mr. Cliff Coates here a little bit ago. Thank you, gentlemen, for also serving. And our former superintendent, Dr. Stanley McCain, that also had this dream and vision for all of us. Thank you, gentlemen. At this time, I'd like to pay tribute and honor the McPherson family with a resolution reading that the Bremen Board of Education passed back in May of 2011. And it reads as follows. Whereas the Bremen Board of Education fully supports performing arts for its students and believes a new facility to house programs and performances is in the best educational interest of the students. And whereas Mr. and Mrs. Carl McPherson made a substantial donation of excess of $1 million and to honor their son Charlie McPherson toward the construction of the Hamilton-McPherson Fine Arts Center. And whereas the Bremen Board of Education acknowledges that without such a gracious donation by the McPherson family for the benefit of the future of the Bremen students, that this construction and this facility would not have been possible. And whereas the Bremen Board of Education is deeply gratified and appreciative for the kindness of the McPherson family, and whereas the Bremen Board of Education wishes to express to the McPherson family their sincere gratitude, now therefore be it resolved that the Bremen Board of Education unanimously pass this resolution to thank and to bring honor to the McPherson family for their generous donation and support for present and future students of Bremen City Schools. This time I'd like to welcome Dr. Hicks to the stage. He has a presentation from Mrs. McPherson, and I also would like to give you a gift, Ms. McPherson.
At this time, it is my honor and privilege to read to you a message from Ms. Jewel McPherson, who is in attendance with us this evening. Thank you for being here to celebrate the dedication of this beautiful building and what it will mean to so many. The person who deserves the most credit for this is my husband, Carl McPherson, father of Charles Hamilton McPherson and great-nephew of George Reed Hamilton. Carl was an intelligent and ambitious man. I tried to help him in everything he undertook, but it was his drive and his ability to make good investments that made it possible for us to make this contribution. He also believed in saving. In clearing out his files, I ran across something he had written several years ago. The last paragraph reads, "What I remember most about my childhood was the hard times we experienced. It wasn't just us, it was practically everybody. If I had any advice to give this generation or any future generations, I would say save at least 10% of your earnings and become financially independent, and you will never become a burden on your fellow man." Carl loved his family and was proud of his ancestry. He passed away almost 2 years ago, and at that time, the Art Center, to us, was still a dream. I have watched it grow from the groundbreaking to the completion, and I am honored to be a part of it. I know it will be a blessing to this school and to this community. It is beautiful, Mrs. Carl McPherson. As a small token of our appreciation, Mrs. McPherson is being given the crystal piece currently being displayed on screen. On the inside of the crystal is a hologram image of 6 of our students who were the first students to ever perform in this facility. It is currently on display in the lobby, and we hope you will look at it before you leave this evening. Ms. McPherson, on behalf of the Bremen Board of Education, all of us in attendance, and on behalf of the thousands of students and people who will enjoy this facility in years to come, we want to say a heartfelt thank you to you and your family for this generous donation that started us on a path toward this day. Thank you very much. As you are probably aware, this week is also homecoming. Each year we have a homecoming parade on Friday afternoon before the homecoming game. We are honored to announce this year's Grand Marshals for the parade. Mrs. Jewel McPherson will be one of the 3 Grand Marshals. We selected Ms. McPherson in honor and appreciation of her contribution to our school system. Mrs. Janice Parrish is a lifetime resident of Bremen and is a 1969 graduate of Bremen High School. In school, Ms. Parrish participated in drama, literary, and chorus. She was a member of one-act play that won state twice with their performances Once Upon the Playground and Jack the Submission in 1968 and 1969, respectively. In 1974, Mrs. Parrish began her teaching career as a special education teacher at Bremen City Schools. She was instrumental in starting the gifted and counseling programs at Jones Elementary. Over 30 years, she has worked at Jones Elementary, Sewell Middle School, Bremen High School, and the central office. She is married to Gordon Parrish, and they have 3 children and 1 beautiful granddaughter. She attends First United Methodist Church. Ms. Parrish is fully retiring from Bremen City Schools in June, and to honor her years of dedication to our students and school system, she was selected to be a Grand Marshal. Dr. Stanley McCain graduated from Bremen High School in 1967. In high school, he sang in boys' chorus and with the Villagers Ensemble. He was a member of the boys' quartet as well as a member of the debate team. Dr. McCain served as superintendent of Bremen City Schools for 12 years. It was during his tenure that the dream of building this facility took a major step forward with a donation from Mr. and Ms. McPherson, as well as architectural plans being drawn. During Dr. McCain's tenure as superintendent, the school system grew by approximately 500 students. He was superintendent when the 2008 global recession occurred and the resulting revenue challenges that followed. Despite significant cuts to funding, Dr. McCain was instrumental in maintaining the financial solvency of the school system. The Bremen Academy Bremen Middle School facility was also built during his tenure. Dr. McCain remains professionally active, serving as a senior fellow and professor through Piedmont College. In appreciation of his dedication and service to our school system and community, he also has been selected as Grand Marshal. Will you now please join me in thanking all 3 individuals for their contribution to our students and our school system. Thank you very much. As beautiful and excited as we are to have this facility for our students and community, we know that our greatest asset is the people who work with our students daily within our fine arts programs. We are extremely blessed to have tremendously talented people working with our students. As I call your name, if you'll please stand so we can recognize you for your tireless efforts. Derek Abel, Brenda Andrews, Bert Barrow, Matthew Bass, Felicia Brower, Lori Ellis, Jim Gallus, Jamie Lipscomb, Crystal Pollard, Dorian Santiago, Sheila Thompson, Monica Turner, and John Wilburn. Thank you guys. At this time, we will continue with the program as it is listed, so please indulge us for a few minutes as you hear briefly from 2 community members who are also parents, Mr. Dave Pollard and then Miss Amy Parrish. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Dave Pollard. I am the chairman of the Bremen Education Foundation, and it is my opportunity tonight to share with you a little bit about what it is that we do at the foundation. In 1992, some folks got together and started our foundation, and over the last 20 years, contributions have been made to the foundation from a lot of the folks that are sitting in this audience right now. Also, contributions have been made from our faculty here at the school. Every pay period, some money is taken out of their paycheck and goes directly to the foundation. There are two things that the foundation does with that money. Every year, the faculty will request grant money. That comes to the foundation, and then we decide how and where that money goes. Those teachers take that money, go back to their classroom, and use it for materials or for equipment to help them to be better teachers, to make our students better students. The second thing that happens with that money, Jean and Reba Jean Gillespie, every spring get together with somebody from the foundation, and they decide what graduating seniors are going to receive scholarship money that will go to help defray some of the cost of their higher education. The foundation is made up of 12 folks. 6 of those are community folks. 3 of the members are faculty, and then 3 are ex officio members. And let me call those out. Joni Lowe, Miss Betty Cameron, Kersha Cartwright, Dawn Cook, Stanley McCain, and the 3 faculty members are Tony Lover, Mark Clark, Billy Pollard, and then the ex officio are Janice Parrish, David Hicks, and Darrell Sellers. The foundation is a 501c3 charitable organization, which means that if you would like to be a part of giving gifts to us in the form of cash, those gifts will be fully tax deductible. A few years ago, I got a phone call, and in this conversation, I was informed that an extremely generous contribution was being given to the foundation. That contribution was given by Mr. and Mrs. Carl McPherson. This building today is the result of that contribution. As you've already heard, this building is going to be a great asset not only for our school system, but for our community also. Ms. McPherson, I'd like to say to you from the foundation and from me personally, thank you very much for your generous gift, and may God bless you.
So I know all of you are begging me to sing. Would you like me to do that? Yes. That'll be a no. Okay, so I'm just here tonight to say without the foundation, we wouldn't have an opportunity to start raising money for the ongoing. Let's be clear. Thanks to the McPherson family, this facility is paid for and its maintenance. So that is a blessing in itself. They deserve another hand before I go on. But as you know, there are other things that have to be done to continue to groom our programs, to grow the arts offerings that we have in this facility and give back to the community. So again, you know, it's the performing arts, it's theater, it's symphony, it's recitals, it's band, it's literary. So much we can do here, but we could also teach college courses in partnership with other schools. We can expand what we're offering. We can provide new instruments for our band members. There are lots of things we can do with this facility, with this Performing Arts Center, with this amazing program, these amazing teachers, and by the way, David Hicks. Let's give him a hand. It takes leadership and commitment and creativity, and with that, I can't not acknowledge RK Ready Construction. But my job is the cheesy job, as you can imagine. I got to raise funds. So if you guys are interested or feel compelled or led to help us, we have all kinds of programs for giving. It could be a one-time gift. It could be annual giving. You could donate to a specific cause or a specific group. So if you feel led to do that, as you're leaving, please grab one of these brochures. If you have questions for me, we'll be in the back. Kelly Weaver and I will be at a table. So thank you so much for letting me be here. I bleed blue even though I didn't go here. So thanks so much.
I'm Dwayne McManus. I'm principal at Bremen High School, and I'm very honored to be on stage this evening and being allowed a brief spot in the program to try to summarize for you some of the historical highlights in the areas of music, drama, and literary, and I might even throw in a little more this evening. It was said by Miss Tassie Reed, a former teacher at Bremen, and she quoted, "Bremen's music, drama, literary, oratory, debate were nothing less than dignified." It is recorded that early teachers included Addie Birdie, Etta Adams, and Mrs. Charles Copeland, and that they made huge impacts in the program around the beginning of the 20th century. In 1919, Bremen had its first literary meet in Rome, Georgia. It was noted that the outcome was an early indication of the success of Bremen's literary and musical competitions for the years to come. In 1920, your first music club was developed, your first glee club, your first literary club, and an orchestra was developed, all in the 1920s. In 1921, Beulah Golden Porter graduated from Bremen High School and was the first person to study at the Atlanta Conservatory. She later returned to Bremen to teach piano, violin, trumpet, and voice, and she was responsible for starting the first school orchestra. In 1927-28, the school year, there was a Halloween play. There were many plays sponsored by all different grade levels, and there was a Thanksgiving operetta entitled Midsummer's Eve, and it was produced by the 4th and 5th grade, I do believe. Later in the year, the Bremen Orchestra was the guest. Get this, students, they played at the junior-senior. Boy, have times changed. In 1930, the first drama club and music club was established, and we have pictures of those in the lobby. In 1930, the senior play was Cheer Up Chad, and the high school operetta was Fitz O'Leary, under the direction of Miss Myrtle Reeves. During the 1930s, Miss Jordy Hogan was hired to teach and direct drama, public speaking, and dance, and she later married Mr. H.D. Hatchett, Bremen's 10th superintendent. Students of the 1940s enjoyed school dances, piano recitals, and acting. In the 1940s, we started dancing at schools. Can you believe that? In the early 1948, we had a drum corps. That drum corps was led by Miss Ann Plant. In 1948, also, in the spring, Bremen formed its first marching band, and the director was Arlene Bouster. During the 1950s and 1960s, Bremen enjoyed new school buildings, which included lunchrooms and gymnasiums, which had performance stages in them. During 1952, the junior-senior prom was the first prom to have a real band. In 1962, the first debate team was organized by Mr. Buford Arnold and was coached by Judy Stockner. In 1964, the literary team was sponsored by George Shelnut. The first play presented at Region Literary Competition was entitled In the Shadows, and it was presented by the junior class of '64. In the late 60s, under the direction of Buford Arnold, the literary program was revamped, and a talented leadership that consisted of Miss Betty McMillan and later Miss Helen McClellan, Bremen won many state and regional levels and honors. In 1966, Bremen High School won their first literary championship. In 1966, under the direction of Miss Betty McMillan, Bremen won its first one-act play state championship entitled Riders of the Sea. The first state championship for debaters was in 1968. In 1968, the drama clubs organized the first Miss Blue Devil contest, which is still in existence today, and it is the drama club's main fundraiser. In 1973, a portable art and music facility was purchased for Jones Elementary, and that further supported the fine arts experience for Bremen students. Around 1975, A music teacher was employed at H.A. Jones Elementary, and a full-time teacher was employed at Bremen High School. In 1975 and in 1976, Bremen High School won state literary competitions under the leadership of Miss McClellan and Miss McMillan. In 1976, an honors night was established for participants in the literary program, and we still have that today. In the 1980s, the literary and music programs were expanded and flourished, with a fine arts building being built on H.A. Jones's campus. That was in 1989, and it still houses music and art classes today. In the early 1990s, a choral program was established at Sewell Middle School. That bridged the gap between the existing programs at H.O. Jones and at Bremen High School. The 1990s marked an era of extraordinary success in marching and symphonic band under the direction of Mr. Ed Hogan. In the late 1990s, debate was phased out, but entered mock trial, and that was developed in 2001 by Ms. Carol Murphy. During the last 30 years, Bremen High School's band has flourished with many competitive superior ratings. In the last 12 years, Bremen High School has established a musical program, a spring musical program, that has become a community favorite, and that will be occurring in this building later in May. Over the years since the inception of Bremen High School, we have had many individuals to win region and state titles in the areas of debate, mock trial, extemporaneous speaking, dramatic interpretation, one-act play, typing, spelling, essay, piano, solo, trio, and quartet. Bremen High School's literary teams have claimed 6 championships: 1966, 1971, 1972, 1973, 1974, 1975, and we are in the hunt for one this year. Bremen High School's one-act play cast and crews have captured 7 championships in 1966, 1968, 69, 1973, 1976, 2004, and 2005. Recently, Bremen High School has been awarded the GHSA's Class A Ray Horn Award, which is for excellence in one-act play, debate, and literary, by accumulating more points than any other school in the state. Those awards were given in 2008, 2009, and 2010 under the direction of Ms. Monica Turner, Ms. Felicia Brower, and Mr. John Wilburn. And now, we are truly blessed to be here tonight in Bremen City Schools, Hamilton-McPherson Fine Arts Center. Wow, what a blessing. It is fully expected that our community will embrace the use of this wonderful facility with dance recitals, beauty contests, concerts, movies, senior citizen activities, professional productions, and the list goes on and on. This facility will be used as a kindergarten through 12th grade educational and extracurricular facility where students will be able to see, hear, and participate in the 21st century learning. This facility has been designed and designated as a student learning environment. Students will not only learn music, literary, theater, and voice. Those are great long life activities, but many of them are learning tonight, as we speak, the technical skills of stage management, theater lighting, and theater sound. The Fine Arts Center will be also home for many students and community art exhibits, festivals, pageants, receptions, and competition programs. For example, in 2 weeks from today, Bremen High School will be hosting Region 5AA's Region 1 Act Play Competition. There are 6 schools coming here on the 18th of October. A piece of that play was performed tonight for you. The entire play is around 50 minutes. Each school has that time allotted. It's an exciting opportunity. Our students are getting to learn the theater from the ground up. Later in this year, March the 9th, Bremen High School will also host Region 5AA's region competition for literary. And we're expecting a great turnout for that. We have 7 schools that are going to be here March the 9th for region literary competition. Again, in later May, we will present the spring musical. So you can see, ladies and gentlemen, that this building is going to catapult Bremen High School, Bremen City Schools, Jones Elementary, the Academy, the middle school. It's going to catapult things for us. We're going to be going beyond. I expect us to have to build more trophy shelves, Dr. Henderson. Get your pocketbook out. I know that I could go on and on and on. There are many, many stories. We had a ribbon cutting this morning, and people were just grabbing people by the arms. Oh, I have this picture. Oh, I have this history. We want that. We want to see it. We want to digitize it. We'll give it back to you. But we want records to go in this building, for this building to live on and on and on for the students at Bremen High School and the students at Bremen City Schools. Enough of that. Now we're going to go back to some performances. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce a new friend. This friend is Reverend Robert Boggs. Reverend Boggs is a 1940 graduate of Bremen High School. Robert, as a 7th grade student, he, with the help of his English teacher, entered the senior speech competition, and he recited President Lincoln's Gettysburg Address. Tonight, all the way from Indiana, at 90 years of age, Robert is going to perform for you the Gettysburg Address. So I will turn the stage over to Robert on the other side. Reverend Boggs, we are blessed to have you here. Thank you.
What a principle you guys have here. And what talent you have. I can't find a word to fit the talent that you have in this place. Well, anyway, it was my privilege when I was in the 5th grade to say to Dad and Mom, you know, this country school, it's a great one. Two-room country school was a great country school. But I said, Dad, Mom, I'm not learning what I want to learn in this two-room country school. I want to go to Bremen School. And they said, well, Robert, it's 3.5 miles there. Besides, it costs $8 a semester. That school is out of our district in Buchanan. Oh, you'll have to pay $8 per semester. And I said, well, what about the walking? How are you going to get? I said, I'll walk. 3.5 miles each way? Yeah. I did. But I had company. My dog Jack loved to come to Bremen School, and he, at lunchtime and at recess time, he had the time of his life because the kids would give him part of their lunch. Talk about a dog's life. Anyway, I would like to share with you something I did when I was a kid, the last year of grade school here. Thanks to the tremendous encouragement of Miss Gladys Eubanks and Mrs. H.D. Hatchett, the drama and speech teacher, they didn't know they were beginning the ministry of a Methodist pastor who for 40 years would serve way up north. But anyway, they gave of themselves just like I'm sure the teachers today. There's something contagious about this place, folks, because I know what it is. It's the people here. Thank God for Bremen schools. Now I'd like to share with you something I hope you will hear with your ears and with your heart. 407 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We're engaged in the great civil war. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here, have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It was for us, it is for us, the living rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen.
To the
the dedication of the Hamilton-McPherson Fine Arts Center. If you have not done so already, the facility is open for tours this evening, and please don't forget it is open with student performances all day tomorrow as well. We hope everyone has a great evening, and thank you so much for coming.